Obviously a very emotional day. I mean, you got a lot of ups, a lot of downs in a tournament like that. And, overall we had a lot of guys wrestle well, just kind of, really there's just no room for error in that tournament. For us to win the championship, we really, everybody has to perform their best, and we really need to place all 10 guys, and we didn't do that. But I didn't think we wrestled bad. Just, had a couple matches we kind of fell a little bit short. But those are things that we gotta understand, that when we go to that tournament, we've got to be perfect if we're going to win a team title.
You look at the three champions. I know, reflect on the kind of long term. I mean, Thomas's growth over several years, Cody to be here 5 or 6 years. I guess for those particular super seniors, just your thoughts on what it meant for them to get their hand raised at the end of their last SoCon game.
Yeah, I think for Cody and Thomas, obviously it was a very emotional moment. I mean, they've had a lot of adversity this year. Obviously, being a 6-year senior in a sport like wrestling, your body doesn't feel the same as it did 6 years ago. So they dealt with some physical, hurdles that they had to get over this year, and some aches and pains that, as you start getting into your 6th year of college wrestling that are there that normally wouldn't be there. And then they had some moments where they had, bad matches or got upset in some tournaments and things like that. And so it was an emotional roller coaster for both of them all year long, in the regular season. But I think for both of them, capping it off the way they did in the conference championship and start turning their focus now on the NCAAs was obviously a moment for them where they realized that it was worth it, And so excited for both of them. I think hopefully they're going to let it fly in Detroit and try to do something, that's something that's been a goal of theirs for a long, long time.
You mentioned Cody Russell 5 times in the SoCon finals, 3 championships. That's a pretty remarkable resume.
Yeah, I mean, it's never been done before until Cody did it, and then Kyle did it later that session. He qualified for his 5th finals appearance, but obviously with the COVID years, it's brought a lot of records and things like that into a little bit different perspective now. But Cody's been in the Southern Conference Finals 5 years in a row, won his 3rd championship as the number 2 seed, and so it was obviously for him a great day, and I think I'm excited to see him wrestle in Detroit.
2 guys who took 3rd as seniors, Barrett Blakely at 184 and Mike Rochelle at heavyweight. Just what are your thoughts on kind of how they potentially wrapped up their careers?
Well, I think Barrett Blakely, hats off to him. He's, been in the program for 4 years, and he's just a great young man. He does all the right things. He's a good representative and ambassador for our program. And this was his first year in the starting lineup, and I thought he handled himself really well. Was seeded, I think, 4th in the tournament. Ended up placing 3rd, beating the number 2 seed for 3rd and 4th from Chat that he'd lost to in the duel. Lost by just a razor-thin margin in the semis to the Campbell wrestler that ended up winning the tournament. But he's been a very pleasant surprise in our lineup this year. Really, stepped in and wrestled like a wrestler that had some experience in the starting role. He did a good job for us this year, helped us in a lot of different ways, and so I was really proud of him. But not only what he accomplished in wrestling and being able to wrestle for a 3rd place finish, to cap off his career, but like I said, just how he represents our program. He's a fine young man, and one of those special kids that you really like coaching. Mike Rochelle, I thought he wrestled a pretty as consistent of a day as he has pretty much in his career. He lost by a razor-thin margin in the semifinals to the Citadel heavyweight that was returning conference champion, and just fell short of qualifying a bid. But, one of the things I was proud of Mike for is when he had that disappointing loss in the semis, he came back through the consolations and won and got bonus points for us in all his matches. And that was really big for us to kind of keep us in the team race. If he doesn't do that, we're probably not in the team race when it gets to the finals. So, proud of him for finishing that way, and hopefully, that'll kind of be a positive memory he can look back on, is that he at least finished it the right way.
In addition to the 3 automatic qualifiers and SoCon champs, you get 2 at large, and Will Fermato at 165, Caleb Smith at 125. What was your reaction to kind of how that all played out when the at large first go out?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, felt very fortunate to get 2 more at large bids. I mean, I think I really thought Caleb and Will were, pretty certain that they would get a bid because they were actually the two that qualified the bids for the conference, the automatic bids. And typically in the selection process, if you qualified a bid and brought a bid to the conference championship, you're usually first consideration for an at-large bid, and that was both Caleb and Will. So I figured they would get bids, but obviously if you leave it in the committee's hands, you just are never comfortable until those announcements are made. I think both of them now have got to see it as an opportunity and be thankful for it and really compete like, that they want to prove that they deserve that bid. And so, I was really happy for them. It's good for us to take 5 wrestlers to the NCAA championships. And then we thought we had chances at 141 and 157 for Heath Gagne and Cody Bond to possibly get bids, but I think ultimately at the end of the day, they were just short of qualifying automatic bids through the automatic process, and then when it comes down to at-large bids, like I knew at 141 just kind of how the whole country played out in the qualifiers. There were a lot of 141 pounders that got upset in their conference tournaments. So I knew when I saw how many upsets there were in the other conferences, Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, EIWA, and ACC, I knew there was probably a slim chance that Heath was going to get in the field. But then 157, there was 5 available, and I felt like Cody was ranked ahead of a lot of the guys in the RPI and the coaches' rankings that ended up getting at large bids over him. But ultimately, I think it came down to the fact that several of those guys that was in the at-large pool with Cody had common opponent wins. They had beaten the wrestler from the Citadel that we lost to in the conference finals, and that probably is what cost him. And then he just didn't, he didn't have any real bad win or bad losses, but he needed to have a couple of good wins, and he lost some really close matches that, throughout the season that, winning one of those matches probably could have made a difference. So he's going to be back next year. I know he's very disappointed and upset that he didn't qualify a bid, but I think it'll hopefully motivate him to grow and to better himself, and hopefully he's got another opportunity.
Last one with a little over a week until you start competing in Detroit. Just kind of what's the timetable? What's the kind of methodology right now for your group?
Well, at this point in the year, most of the work's been done. You're not going to get your guys in better shape. You're not going to really, really work on, gaining new technical skills. Right now, it's just about fine-tuning, sharpening our guys, making sure they're feeling good and ready to compete. The work's been done at this point, so it's just about getting our guys ready to compete. We'll train through these next couple of days and just really focus on our guys' individual needs, what they kind of really need to be focused on to reach their goals, and trying to get them feeling good. And then the biggest thing is just making sure they're mentally ready to go next week, because I think if they're mentally ready to go, physically they've all done the work and they're in great shape and they've been battle tested this year. So just excited for us to get up there and have an opportunity for those 5 guys to represent this program and hopefully come back with some All-Americans and a national champ.
I guess John, I haven't mentioned him yet, but the first year he qualifies, there's no championships held. So last year was actually his first year for him to get All-American. What do you think just to have an experience of that setting under his belt means for a second trip up there?
Well, I think it's going to be obviously important that he's been there before. But I told our guys yesterday in the locker room, honestly, the NCAA championships this year is going to feel much different than it did a year ago. Last year there was very few fans in the arena in St. Louis. It didn't have that buzz, that crowd that you're used to seeing at the NCAA championships. So it's going to be a little bit different, but honestly, John's confident. He's wrestled on the big stage a lot, and he'll be ready. And I'm excited. I think he's one of those underrated wrestlers that probably a lot of people are going to take notice after this weekend.